Hey, this is Notser, and today we're doing a Phase 2 anti-aircraft exploration. Phase 1 for the public test server 8.0 happened probably a week ago, and I had the destroyer, cruiser, and battleship videos as example of those systems, and they were clearly inadequate. Wargaming has countered with a Phase 2 where long-range and medium-range flag got improved damage per second. Defensive fire has a lower cooldown and also has a more effective effect. And then just in general, people are a little bit more familiar with the system and they should just have a little bit more comfort with it. Along with slot 3, slot 6 AA modules, I also have equipped the commander skills, basic firing training, advanced firing training, and manual AA. Now, just running through it really quickly, basic firing training improves the continuous AA damage. This is the damage that just passively occurs, both long, medium, and short. Advanced firing training no longer extends AA range. Instead, it improves the flak damage from long and medium range. And then manual AA allows for improved sector DPS. And obviously you have to set the sector. You'll see on the compass the sector has been set. And in order for me to benefit from it, I need to make sure that sector is always facing the enemy aircraft that are incoming. Now in Phase 1, the AA system was just pathetic. Couldn't shoot down anything. You couldn't actually punish the enemy at all. You never got the opportunity to do this. Well, I'm happy to report that the AA systems have absolutely been improved. The long and medium is definitely noticeable. That flak is incredibly punishing, and if an enemy is unsuspecting, happen to fly through it, half their squadron's wiped out. And, you know, there's a counter. Oh, well, it's unlimited aircraft. They can do whatever they want, and they can attack at will. Yeah, it's kind of unlimited. It's unlimited in the sense that, yes, over a 20-minute battle, there will always be a resource that is generated. But if you get actual kills on the target, and I'm not talking about just chip damage, forcing those aircraft to go back and rearm. No, if you get actual kills on the aircraft, you will see that the unlimited nature of them is less than was advertised. Every aircraft that's actually shot down contributes to slowing down the enemy's ability to reinforce. And that reinforcement takes a very long time. And if you don't have enough aircraft for the squadron to be at full strength, well, guess what? That squadron is going to be more vulnerable to incoming AA systems. And that's really good. But we never had this feeling prior to this build. We do now, though. Oh boy, do we do. Whenever the enemy is coming in and you get a fortunate lucky flak cloud that is impenetrable, if he flies right through it, he's wiping out half the squadron or more. As you've seen already, we shot down 29 and that was just one squadron. When that squadron's taken out, it's going to take a lot longer for the return flight from that same type. So if I knock out the dive bombing, well, then his dive bombs are going to take a really long time to recharge to full strength. It's going to force him to have to use something else and maybe even go after some other target. Obviously, that's super exciting, and that's how the AA system should have felt. And it's unfortunate that this is the earliest we've felt that power. But that's where the gameplay is right now. If you spec 100%, and I do mean 100% into anti-air, you can actually fight off the enemy and feel effective. But if you don't, and I've played plenty of games on the public test server where I omit manual AA or advanced firing training or basic firing training or one of the modules, it's really on chance at that point. And I don't know if players are ready for that because, you know, on one hand, cruisers should be dominant in the AA space. But on the other hand, Wargaming doesn't want to limit the carrier's ability to influence the battle. And if you don't want to limit the carrier's ability to influence the battle, well, you probably have to make sure that the carrier can attack. And that's where the flak smoke comes in. There is a huge difference between an aircraft carrier that's good at the game and bad at the game right now, I've noticed. Good aircraft carriers can avoid your flak, avoid dying completely, and they can do successful attacks back to back to back to back. And no matter how good you may or may not be, there is always a window for great players. Oh, we just wiped it out completely. 12 gone. And that was an example of him flying through flak that he just couldn't avoid. But as long as the system exists where there is a window for the carrier to counter, the cruiser systems are going to feel weaker. And yeah, in this game, we shot down 44. We've obliterated sometimes with defensive fire. Immediately, we have flashbacks of the power that we had in the prior AA system. But I also have done this exact same build against a completely different carrier commander, and he was able to avoid completely all of the flak, and only the continuous fire was able to get home to the target. Continuous really doesn't do enough to take out the squadron adequately. It's still available for him to rearm quickly and continue up that pressure. So it really depends on the target that is attacking you. And that's kind of exciting. We kind of didn't have that before. So for me, I like the direction, but I still have a concern that the cruiser AA feels inadequate from a range standpoint. This is the absolute maximum my AA can go to. And yes, it's better than the base was in 7.12 and prior, but it's not quite as extended as I would have hoped for when concerning friendlies. There is a huge window for the carrier to free attack, and I can't really provide the AA protection. And part of that, I think, is just the range. No matter how powerful they make the AA, there's still short range that the player has to avoid, And I'm really, really concerned about this feature. Because good players are going to recognize the range, and they're going to minimize that range of impact. And players will have to basically hug the crap out of cruisers to have any hope of protecting themselves adequately at times. I kind of feel like defensive fire should sort of morph into something more than it is. Maybe it extends the AA range for the duration. Obviously, announce something to the enemy, but it doesn't really feel like there's a standout feature that cruisers have over everyone else. I have played battleship games where I went full-on anti-air, and I pretty much shot down almost the same amount of aircraft. It's really on the enemy that is attacking to avoid that flak. If he could avoid it, it feels like it's not even there at times. So that's my main concern at this point. AA completely powerful, completely substantial, noticeable. That definitely exists now. I just feel like the team support is a little limited on certain classes where it doesn't really feel like there's a difference between a battleship AA system or a cruiser AA system. And the defensive fire system, it's there, but so is the catapult fighter. And in this system, it ends up feeling very similar. Both deny the immediate area for aircraft. I want defensive fire to have a more unique feel to the player, and I think extending its range is the best way to do it. It is always attached to ships that are supporting anti-air systems, and I think that might be the right direction to go to diverge their playstyle, the catapult fighter and defensive fire. So in this game, 200,000 damage, 3 kills, obviously it's a bot game. 44 aircraft shot down, but more importantly, we shot down aircraft before they could even attack at times. And we couldn't do that in Phase 1. So A+ Wargaming on buffing the AA damage output. 3,300 base XP, just absolutely awesome. I hope this is interesting. Share your thoughts in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.